Hello, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather daily to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today, we have the great pleasure of having Katia Beenden with us. Katia is a writer, tarot reader, energy healer, and soul realignment practitioner. Before starting with Katia, we want to remind you that we are a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to share information that can help in a way raise the level of consciousness around the world. And you can help us by subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down this video, or sharing this video with someone that you know that can benefit of the content that we're going to be talking here today. Also, while we are live streaming, we can have the active chat. It's a screen that you're going to be seeing on my side or under the video in case that you're seeing us from a smartphone. And through there, you can interact with us. We also want you to know that you can collaborate with Mindalia with your own valuable content. And for that, you can go to our website. On the top, you are going to find the link. It says Collaborate with Mindalia. That link is going to take you to a form that you can fill out, and our technical team will be getting in contact with you. You can collaborate with Mindalia in English through Mindalia TV English, but you can also do it in Spanish through Mindalia Televisión and Portuguese through Mindalia Televisao. Visit our different channels and platforms, follow our Facebook pages and Instagram accounts, because with that, you are not only helping us reach as much people in the planet as possible, but you also keep yourself updated with the amazing information that we share there on a daily basis. We're not going to be delaying this any further, and I have now the great pleasure of introducing Katia. Katia, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. The screen is all yours.
Hi, Mona. Thank you for having me again. I love talking all things tarot, so I am super excited to be here. So today we're going to be diving into how the tarot can be used as a powerful healing tool. And I want to start by saying that your body is your most powerful and most accurate oracle. Not only does it tell you when you're hungry or when you're tired, it also uses subtle signals to alert you to your environment. For example, if you're engaging with someone who is toxic or who has been deceptive, you may suddenly get a headache or a stomach ache. You're just not going to be feeling great. This means your eyes are seeing the Queen of Cups. You see their smile, you feel their hug, but your body is feeling the Queen of Swords. Your body is sensing her daggers, the King of Swords if it's a guy. Now, if you went home and asked your deck, what caused my headache or my stomach ache today? In this situation, you'll probably get one of the court cards, which is one of the people in the tarot. And you might even get the Queen of Swords or the King of Swords, or even the Emperor reversed, or the Devil might show up, or the Five of Swords. What does this all mean? Well, those cards would be alerting you to the fact that your interaction with that person is what caused your headache. Something was off. Alternatively, you may ask, what caused my headache today? Shuffle your cards and pull the Ace of Cups or Temperance. What does that mean? Well, that means you probably should be drinking more water and bring your body back into balance. So as a healing tool, the tarot can give practical advice in terms of drinking water, or something deeper in terms of a dynamic in a relationship that's off. So just as your body gives you feedback, the tarot is an extension of your built-in navigation system. It's a healing tool to help you tune into what your body, your gut, your intuition, or your higher self is trying to tell you. And when you use the tarot and you pull the cards and you take that moment to look at the cards, it gives you this moment of stillness. There's this moment where you just stop and listen. And that's when the divine has an opportunity to talk to you. The divine is always talking to you, through you, as you. I want to say that again. The divine is always talking to you, through you, as you. By tapping into source through the cards, through the power of intention, or through meditation or prayer, you become your own oracle. Now, other examples of oracles, similar to the tarot, are also seen in nature. So if you're walking in the garden and a grasshopper suddenly lands on you, you're probably going to shriek, but it's going to shake you up. And it might shake you up so much that you'll hop onto Google and look up, what does grasshopper mean spiritually? And you might be quite surprised to find that the message that grasshopper has for you is quite relevant to your current situation. And that's exactly the same as the tarot, pulling that card and getting that message, that little bit of wisdom or guidance in the moment. So there's much medicine to be found in nature, and there's just as much wisdom to be found in the tarot. And I think it was Carl Jung that said that synchronicity is finding meaning in random events. They seem random, but they're not. They stop you in your tracks and for a moment show you or teach you something. And that's exactly what the tarot does. Other examples of the tarot include muscle testing, which is used in kinesiology, pendulum dowsing, interpreting angel numbers in numerology, and even paying attention to your dreams. These are all the same as the tarot. They all help you, guide you, and provide some kind of healing wisdom. So the tarot cards are a tool to help you gain insights and wisdom. Now, traditionally, when you think of the tarot, you think fortune telling and crystal balls. But the tarot is so much more than that. It's so much more than trying to predict the future. And as Carl Jung said, as you can see, I have quite a thing for Carl Jung, he says, we can predict the future when we know how the present moment evolved from the past, which in tarot healing speak is defined as past behavior determines future behavior, or when people show you who they are, believe them. The tarot as a healing tool gives you insight into how you can help yourself to heal. It offers a map of how to navigate the ebb and flow of life. Now, I want to emphasize something quite important here. Needing to heal does not mean that you are damaged or there is something wrong with you. As humans, our healing journeys are our life's work. It's the journey of the soul, just like the Fool's Journey in the major arcana of the tarot. I have literally done thousands of readings, and I have yet to find one single person who has it all figured out and doesn't need to heal something at some point in their lives. It's part of personal development. And the tarot as a tool is a shortcut to hone in on what exactly needs work and how you can go about healing it. Because we can ask such precise questions, we can really get targeted answers. Of course, you can choose to stay the same and not be curious about why you make the choices you make, or you can ignore the fact that you have certain negative repeating patterns in your relationship. And you can also choose to stay the same and play the victim and blame your parents or blame your childhood or blame your lack of education. But at the end of the day, it is up to you to rise above the abuse, the neglect or challenges and become whole and healed for yourself. So the tarot works best as a healing tool when you are curious, when you want to get better, and when you want to reach your highest potential. New choices, new behaviors, new attitude equals new you. It's simple as that. So if you do choose to stay in your comfort zone of playing the victim, for example, unfortunately, there are going to be consequences for that choice. And the consequences of staying the same is probably going to show up as dis-ease in your body because the mind, body, and spirit are all connected. So I want to take the fear out of the tarot, and I want to show the modern seeker how it can be used as a powerful tool for healing in your everyday life. When you use the tarot as a tool for healing, you are connecting with the divine. It's a form of prayer. That's why it's called divination. You're asking Source or God for information just as you pray for guidance or help. By using the tarot as a tool, you are then able to divine the information coming through. Think of it as an answer to your prayer. And through this process, you're giving yourself permission to be your own authority. When I was in my second or third year of psychology, we were studying the works of Freud and Jung. And I was more drawn towards Carl Jung's theory, as unlike Freud, he acknowledged the spiritual component of the human psyche. And he also studied the tarot, which made me love him even more. And he said the tarot provides doorways to the unconscious. So the tarot works with symbolism and archetypes. For me personally, when I'm reading for myself, I see the tarot as the lazy version of meditation. Although for my clients, I always meditate before a reading. So instead of sitting and waiting for the answers to come, and they always do, I just set a quick intention, I connect with my angels and guides, and I'll pull a few quick cards. That way I get answers faster, because the tarot acts as a tool that helps me to access my subconscious in an instant. So the cards are mostly just prompts. The images light up the meditative or creative side of your brain, which helps you tune into your gut or your higher self and bring out the answer or information that you need. Often you already know the answer, but seeing that color or that symbol or that sign kind of pulls it out of you. So a reading for me is not so much about predicting the future. The future is not predetermined. It's not set in stone. Otherwise, what use is free will and choice? How disempowering if you've got no say on the direction of your life. You create your future with your choices, and you always have options. Much like karma, what is karma? Karma is choice and consequence. That's it. Good karma means I'm making choices aligned with my soul and where I'm going. So I'll have good consequences. I'll manifest abundance, I'll manifest love, I'll manifest peace. Bad karma is I'm making bad choices. What happens then? I don't have enough money, I've got bad relationships, I'm in ill health. At the end of the day, it boils down to the little everyday choices that you're making. And the tarot can help you see which choices are available to you, which choices are going to help you improve your circumstances. Anyway, as I was saying, you always have choice, even when you think you don't. So sometimes what a healing tarot spread is all about is just helping you to see what options are available. You can use the cards to get insights into the lesson or spiritual message behind your distress or dis-ease. So for example, I'll use my own life as an example. I used to have really bad rheumatoid arthritis in my right knee. And I used to have to get cortisone injections, and I used to be on hectic medication. I'm happy to say I don't have those issues at all anymore. I can run and climb. I'm totally fine off all meds. But the spiritual component was being rigid, not changing. I needed to change my life. I was in a career, in a relationship, in a situation in my life that was going in the wrong direction. And that rigidity and that refusal to change direction showed up very intensely in my body. So that's just a really beautiful example of how our bodies also speak to us. So when I changed my life and I made all the new choices, and I started healing my body, it's gone. There's no need for the dis-ease anymore. I've managed to reverse it. And that's where the tarot can be super helpful, because you can ask, what is my dis-ease trying to teach me? And when you ask that question, get an answer, you can hopefully get there a lot quicker than I did. It took me a little bit longer than a few months to figure that one out back in the day. So in my experience, there are three prerequisites for a successful reading. First of all, and this is just, not everyone's going to agree with this, but just the way I read, and these are my prerequisites. First, do you believe in a higher power? My second prerequisite is, do you really want to get better, improve, or make a better choice? And the third is, ask good questions. The clearer, more focused the question, the more accurate the answer. So I'm going to share 5 steps on how to read the tarot accurately for yourself or others. Now, if I just pulled out cards, I would just get a whole lot of gobbledygook. It wouldn't make sense. So that's why, yes, anyone can read the tarot, but there is a process and there is a ritual for getting accurate answers. So accuracy comes from taking the time to treat this as a sacred act. It becomes part of your spiritual practice. So my first step for an accurate tarot reading is to clear your space, set your intention, and set the intention that this work is for the highest good. This is where I smudge, I use Palo Santo or sage, I light a candle, I burn organic sandalwood incense, I then meditate, I sit on my meditation stool, and I pray and I meditate, bring in my angels, bring in my guides, and I ask them to be present. And only once I've done all of that, I then craft a really good question. And when you want to, the step 2 is about crafting the question. And this is actually the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting a good question. What exactly do you want to know? So I'm going to give you some examples of some really good questions related to your healing journey in a little bit to help you with this. So step 1, we clear, we meditate, we set the intention. Step 2, we craft a really, really good question. Step 3, we shuffle our cards and we lay out the cards that we are drawn to. And I'm going to give you some examples of some simple spreads you can use as well. And then step 4, you interpret the meaning and reflect on what came through. Now, I don't want you to think, oh, but I can't read the tarot, I can't do this. There are many beautiful oracle decks on the market that you can use, okay? You can also get books that you can just open to a random page and just see what you can divine through that. And I say to my clients, if you don't understand every meaning of the tarot, of each card, it doesn't matter. Just look at the pictures. What colors jump out at you? What numbers? What images? You can see when you look at a card like the 3 of Swords, you can see it's a heart with 3 swords in it, okay? So if you're asking about your relationship without knowing the tarot, that image is going to tell you, ouch, okay? And if you're pulling the Sun card, which looks all bright and happy and beautiful, you can see from the imagery on the card that it's a positive message. So don't not try using the tarot just because you haven't formally learned it all. Just grab a deck, play with it, see which cards you're drawn to, and just start getting a feel from the cards, which means you can actually start reading the tarot immediately. So the 4th step is interpreting the meaning, okay? And once you've interpreted the meaning and put them together, you've got your 3 of Swords, you've got your Sun card, you kind of, then you reflect. You kind of just let it sink in, let it soak in. And then the 5th step is to take action. If you don't take action or make new choices, nothing changes. Everything stays the same. You determine your future by listening to the guidance and following through. So that's what the tarot will do. It'll give you options. It will tell you what's going on. But it's not going to tell you that is going to happen. It'll say, yes, that can potentially happen given the choices that you're currently making. But remember, by making new choices, you can determine the outcome. So I want to give some examples of some really good tarot questions right now. And just when you ask questions, especially health and medical related questions, just be sure to use the cards as an additional source of knowledge, not the only source. Use them together with medical or psychiatric advice. So the next thing with asking really good questions is to ask a close-ended question, not an open-ended question. So for example, an open question would be, when will I lose weight? How long is a piece of string? Okay. Rather ask an empowering question like, what action can I take to lose 10 pounds? And then I like to add, easily and joyfully. Much better, huh? So that gives you, when you pull a card, you'll be given a practical piece of advice that you can take to reach your goal, to reach your destination. So I'm going to just read out a couple of other options of questions that you might want to jot down just to help you on your healing journey. So for example, a great question to ask is, what can I do to speed up my healing process? What will empower me and give me strength? A third question you could ask is, what is the spiritual lesson underlying my disease or distress? And I should have covered that with my arthritis story. A fourth question is, what is this health concern teaching me? A fifth question could be, what is blocking or slowing down my healing journey? Another question could be, who or what can help me on my healing journey? Another quite good question is, what behavior do I need to change to help me on my healing journey? And the last question is, what is the shadow issue coming up for me right now? And as you can see, these are really targeted questions that can really speed up the process if you acknowledge and take action on the guidance that comes through. And sometimes the guidance is just the Four of Swords. Do nothing. If you need rest, just stop trying to heal. Just take a break. Because sometimes we can also do too much personal development work and try and go too hard and too fast on our healing journeys. And sometimes we just need to stop, let the changes integrate, and just be. And just stare at the view. Just stop. Sometimes that is probably the most powerful action you can take. So the tarot offers guidance on all forms of healing: relationship healing, trauma healing, physical healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing. But now, what is healing? What is healing? Healing looks like a couple of things. It looks like letting go. It looks like change and transformation. And it looks like embracing the new. And I'd also like to add that healing looks like forgiveness, but I put that in the masterclass category. That's when you get your doctorate. And when a lot of my clients are going through a lot of trauma, I say, don't worry about forgiveness now. Really, you'll get there, but just take that off the agenda right now. The question I am most asked is, how do I let go? Everyone just says, let go, full moon intention, let go. Let go. There's lots of memes all over Instagram. I love them. I post them as well. But how do I let go? And I've been asked this question by so many people that I actually decided to do a high priestess meditation with the tarot card. And this is another thing you can do as healing. You can choose a tarot card and sit with it and meditate on it and ask questions based around the energy of that card. Now, I chose the high priestess because she is the inner knowing card, and I wanted wisdom and I wanted knowledge. So I asked the question, how do I let go? And I just sat and I just waited to see what came to me. And the answer I got through meditating on the high priestess card was face your past. I asked, how do I let go? And I just got face your past. So I dug a little deeper and I said, but how do I face my past? Sounds a little bit more like just let go, face your past. So the answer I got was very much more specific. The answer I got was, get curious about yourself and your behaviors. Look at your stuff. Look at the dreams you've given up on, the relationships that haven't worked out, the areas of conflict, the repeating patterns. What programs are driving your behavior? She went on to ask me. What story do you tell to define your place in the world? Empowered or victim? Unhealed wounds from the past play out in the present in your behavior and choices. So when we talk about letting go of the past, it's those behaviors and choices that we actually want to let go of. That's the practical application of letting go. So to face your past, you have to face yourself head on. I'm not saying this is fun work. I'm not saying this is easy, but it's worth it. So letting go starts the moment you decide to change. The moment you decide to change, something shifts and you'll feel it. Letting go happens with each new empowered choice you make. So letting go is a process. It's not a once-off event. Letting go, changing, transforming, and starting something new, that is releasing the past and healing. It takes inner work and action, and the tarot can guide you towards which steps to take. You can ask the tarot what you need to release, what's your next best step, and what will empower you to move forward. Another example of the tarot as a healing tool is in a relationship spread, and I work with this a lot. Certain cards can point towards an abusive relationship. For example, if I'm doing a relationship for a client and she's feeling quite unsettled and depressed and upset and she doesn't know what's going on, and I'll ask, where is the relationship headed? I've got a very specific spread I ask that dives quite deep. We look at the situation, we look at the challenge, we look at the action advice, we look at the spiritual lesson, and we look at the shadow aspect. So we kind of come at it from all angles, and I pull a card for each of those. It's a 5-card spread. Oh, a 6-card if I add in the blind spot. It's a really good spread, this. But so I'll draw the cards or put them down. Now, if, for example, the devil shows up, the emperor reverse shows up, the 7 of swords is in the shadow position, and I've had many spreads like this, and the king of swords shows up reversed as well, this would be a very clear indication of deception, deceit, and possibly even narcissism. And it is so validating for my clients when I can describe the cycle of abuse in the spread, when I can describe to them what I see, and they go, oh my goodness, I'm not going crazy. Oh, I didn't realize that. And it's just so empowering. It helps them to see things from a different perspective. And it also helps them to get the support they need. And that is the power of the tarot. It is incredible. And those things come through without me having any knowledge. I do my meditation, I draw the cards, I tune into their energy, and God and the universe and your higher self brings through the information most valuable for that person at the time. And it's amazing the transformation and empowering that can happen from a tarot reading. So I want to continuing about spreads, I want to give you an example of a couple of simple spreads that you can just use super simple, super easy on a daily basis if necessary. So from a healing perspective, as a healing tool, the tarot can determine which option is better. So if you want to choose, say, should I go to this doctor or that doctor? Should I use this treatment option or that treatment option? You literally just shuffle your deck and you just go, right, card A is for Dr. A and card B is for Dr. B. And then you look at the cards and you just see what the energies are around each one. This is super helpful for decision making, especially if you're really stuck and you're not sure. Another quick spread is just the 3-card mind, body, spirit spread. So you just put 3 cards down in front of you, one for mind, one for body, one for spirit. And this is great to do a quick check-in with yourself. So for example, if the 8 of Swords comes up in the mind position, this would suggest that you're overthinking, you're ruminating about the past, and you're getting very caught up in negative thinking. If the 9 of Cups comes up in the body position, that could suggest you've been overindulging, and you probably didn't need the tarot to tell you that. And let's say you pull the Strength card in the spirit position. Well, that would suggest you have a super strong connection with your source and that you are feeling empowered and that spiritually you're in a really good place. So a third method, it's a method I frequently use while doing my online readings with my clients. So I start off with the basic spread, but often other issues and sideshows, as I call them, come up during the reading. And then what I'll do is I'll use what I call the dialogue method, which means I'll just let them talk, let them explain, let them vent, let them do whatever they need to do. And while they're doing that, I'll just sit with my deck and I'll just see which cards come up. 1 or 2 might come up, a whole lot more will come up. And then when they finish, I've got a whole new story that dives right into that issue right at hand. And it's amazing how accurate this is. So you should try that for yourself as well. You can maybe do it with a friend. And you can pull cards for each other. It's a really, really great technique for on-the-spot information. So what I would love to do now is a quick 2-card spread with Myrna, just to show everyone a little bit of how a tarot reading works and the kind of insights that can come through. And I'm going to just ask, I'm just going to do a quick 2-card spread, just see what comes up. And I'm just going to ask 2 simple questions. I'm going to ask, what does Myrna need to release to heal? And I'm going to ask, what does Myrna need to embrace to heal? And we'll just see what the tarot says. Does that sound okay, Myrna?
That sounds absolutely perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to start with what you need to release. I'm going to ask, I did meditate before, I knew I was going to ask you some questions. So I did do my meditation. I did light my candle and all the rest of it. So I'm ready for you. So I want to know, what does Myrna need to release to heal? I've actually got 2 cards that want to come up here. Okay, so I got the 7 of Pentacles and I got the Chariot. Now you're probably going, what on earth does that mean? So in the tarot, the 7 of Pentacles is generally a very positive card. It's the card of success. In other words, all the hard work you've put in, everything you've done is going to pay off. Okay, but what's super interesting here is it's come up with the Chariot, which is totally the opposite. This is the card of being in the driving seat, missioning towards your goal. Go, go, go. Don't stop. So the feeling I'm getting from these 2 cards, okay, what do you need to release to heal? Well, the 7 of Pentacles is the card of patience. It's almost like the 4 of Swords I spoke about earlier. Just stop. Taking a moment to breathe, to reassess, to just not charge ahead. So I feel, given these 2 cards in combination, you're being guided to let go of this need to charge ahead. And what I'm feeling with this, it's almost like you have this belief that speed means success. So if I'm not doing, going, moving, go, 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 then it's not happening. It's not happening. So I feel you're being guided just to let go of that need to rush and to allow yourself a little bit more time just to assess, check if I'm really happy, check if there's anything that needs to change, and maybe switch that idea of rush, 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 go, go, go. Maybe adopt that, what's that thing? Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. That's what I would say Spirit is kind of saying here. So it would be interesting to hear from you, Myrna, if that resonates.
Yes, definitely. Yes, it definitely does.
Are you someone that just goes and doesn't sort of Allow yourself
Exactly.
just to
Yeah,
stop sometimes.
I don't even look like to the sides. Whenever I have to do something, I just go ahead up front. I don't even analyze anything, and I want everything done like that.
Okay, so to help you heal, you need to just release the need to just go, go, go. Just allow. I think it was Terry Cole that brought it up in one of her videos, and I use it with my clients now. I call it the People magazine moment. It's kind of like the People magazine doesn't take much intellect or much focus, but buy a People magazine and lie on your couch and read it, because the great thing about a People magazine moment is it forces you just to lie on your couch and do nothing, just to stop. So maybe allow yourself a few more of those moments.
I definitely need it.
So the next question I'm going to ask is, what does Myrna need to embrace to heal? Okay, I've got the Two of Swords, and I'm going to pull an extra card just to clarify that quickly. See me, I've got two for the other. I want two for this one as well. And there we go. Perfect. And I've got the Four of Cups. All right, so I drew the Two of Swords, what you need to embrace, and the Four of Cups. So the Two of Swords, as you can see from the image, she's got a blindfold on. She's holding up these swords over her heart. She's stuck. She doesn't know what to do. She's just stuck. Sometimes when we don't know what to do, we just stay stuck. And the Four of Cups, he's kind of just sitting under a tree. He's tuned out the world, and he's just not paying any attention to the action going on around him. So as something to embrace, what I'm feeling with you, and given the Chariot and the Seven of Pentacles that came up earlier, knowing that you're someone that just wants to go, go, go and not stop and assess and all the rest of it. The Two of Swords, I think you don't like not knowing. You don't like indecision, that gray area, that space of not knowing. You leap over that. You try and avoid it, and that's probably why you charge ahead with the tarot. So if you don't know what's going on, you're just going to charge anyway. You don't want to deal. You don't like just sitting and being uncomfortable. So the Four of Cups is kind of saying, yeah, get part of your the thing that's coming to me now. Embrace being uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to sit and be patient and deal with the icky stuff. And Nancy Levin has a wonderful quote, and I use it often. She says, honor the space between no longer and not yet. And with that Chariot card, you like to go from no longer to the future, and then we just skip all the in between. We don't go, I'm fine, I'm over it, I'm moving on, off we go. And what this Four of Cups and this Two of Swords is saying, embrace that messy in-between phase. Embrace the uncertainty and just allow yourself that space and that time. It's okay. It's okay not to know. It's okay. It's part of getting to the goal instead of trying to leapfrog over it. So do you have anything you want to add?
No, I absolutely love it. That's amazing. Let me ask you something. Do you,
Sure.
when you see what you're seeing, when you're interpreting the tarot, does it come to you in images, in a feeling, in an idea? How does it happen to you? Because I understand that every person have their own channels, their own way of knowing what they know. And I've been following you for a certain time, and you're very assertive. How does it come to you? How does what ends up being words to someone else, how does it present to you so you can then translate it into actual words?
So if we look at the different terminologies for being psychic, okay, I am what you would call claircognizant. So cognizant, cognition. So my information comes from cognition. I just know. It's like, I just know. It's almost like God or the angels or my higher self give me the words, give me the story, give me the insight. Like I will meet someone and it's like I suppose sometimes it's images as well. I'm quite image, like I'll just see a flash of a story. I suppose it's very brief. I might just see a flash and I'll know I'll know what their house looks like. That's happened as well. It's almost like I just quickly get a psychic hit, but mostly it's claircognizant. It's just I know, but it's not like I walk around at a mall and just know everything. Okay, I understand if I'm reading for you or if I'm reading for a client. I sit down, I meditate, I set the intention that my guides connect with their guides, and I take time to really tune into what's going on for you. And when I read for the collective on my page, every week I tune in and set that intention. So I am setting the intention and I am asking to be that channel for that information for that person. And then it comes to me as an inner knowing. It's just a knowing. Yeah, I guess it's a gift. It's we all have different spiritual gifts to some degree or another. And for the work I do, this is just one of mine. And it's something, just to give an example, when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, I was that person that people felt comfortable sharing with and talking to. And I would have answers and wisdom to give them well beyond my years. It's not that I was so wise and clever. I hadn't lived long enough to know that stuff, but I was just a natural channel. I honestly believe that their angels were like whispering in my ear saying, tell her this, tell her that, I'm just a vessel. I hope that answers your question.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. So you just know. It just happens that
It's
you
clear
know.
cognizance. I just know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you, for what I understand, that happens when you just set the intention of being probably of service,
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
where you are you're doing, and that was, we were talking earlier, that you are finally doing what you think your call is, and that you are being of service to people with the healing. I also know that you recently got or you're working in the certification for soul realignment. Are you open to tell me a little bit of that?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So the tarot is a very, very powerful healing tool, and it dives really, really deep. Okay. The soul realignment work that I'm busy working towards my certification as we speak, it's reading the Akashic records. So just like with the tarot, I'm accessing source energy, higher knowledge. The Akashic records holds all the information about our soul's journey. So I'm just accessing information about your soul and your soul journey. And what's really beautiful about that is it's very deep work, because with the tarot, I almost feel like we're doing the 3D stuff and the spiritual stuff and the emotional stuff. But reading the Akashic records just gives that extra layer of depth where we go to soul level on a much, much deeper level. But I described earlier how choices determine outcomes, okay? So if you're going to eat cake every day and never exercise, you're going to get fat, all right? And then if you just keep doing that and never change, it's going to become quite an entrenched pattern, okay? And even if you turn it around one day, it might be something you still battle with. In our past lifetimes, if we made repeating negative choices, they create cycles of behavior. And in our modern lives that we're living now, okay, we have patterns, relationship patterns, karmic patterns. And what the Akashic record looks at is, where did that come from? And what new choices can you make to heal that? Because negative karmic patterns show up as lack of abundance, lack of inner peace, struggling with relationships. And the real magic of this work that I'm doing is we don't just go into the Akashic records and get answers. We actually clear. That's the magic of it. We can actually reset the soul blueprint, and which gives you a window period to kind of make new choices. So it's really powerful work. For me, it's just taking the tarot and layering on it.
That sounds amazing. Katia,
Yeah.
we are about to wrap this up, but before, I wanted to ask you something. It looks like, well, we're in a new era. Everything is open for us. There's so much knowledge out there and so much information that we are all capable of accessing. Why do you think we are so reluctant to healing?
Because it's messy, it's inconvenient, it's time consuming, it messes up your mascara. But really, jokes aside, human beings are so resistant to change. Let's take cigarette smoking as an example. You know it's bad for you. You know all the reasons, but you become so resistant to change. I quit the habit, thank goodness, years ago, so I don't smoke. But we're just resistant to change. We like the comfort zone.
Okay.
So
We're
I think
scared of our own potential. Or scared about our
Ah,
own
oh
power?
yes. Yeah, you know the answer, yes. Because sometimes staying the same, even if it's uncomfortable, feels safer than the unknown of being bigger than who we are. Yeah,
Wow. Katia,
yeah.
let me ask you something. Where can our audience find you?
My second home, as I call it, is Instagram, and my handle is at Katia Beeden. That's my website, at Katia Beeden, KatiaBeeden. And my website is angellovehub.com. And you can contact me through my website, or you can just send me a DM on Instagram.
Thank you so much. To our audience
Pleasure.
also, thank you for being with us, for sharing time with Mindalia TV. And Katia, thank you for sharing or for allowing us to be a channel for your ideas, for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing time with us. To our
Well, thank
audience,
you for having me.
it's our pleasure. Do you want to leave us with a nice advice, something from your heart that you would like to say to
Well,
that person out there?
I'll leave you with the high priestess. I'm not making this up. After I drew your card, she popped out of the deck again, and she's the one that I meditated on earlier to get my wisdom on how to let go of the past. So I'm going to leave everyone with the wisdom of the high priestess, and she's very quiet. She doesn't give the answers. She says, "All the wisdom is in you. You already know. Sit in stillness and listen, and the answers will come."
Wow, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
To our
it's a
audience,
pleasure.
don't leave without leaving us a like and sharing this video with someone that you know that can benefit of the content that we're talking here today. We also want you to collaborate with us with your own valuable content. You can go to the website on the top says collaborate with Mindalia. That takes you to a form that you can fill out so you can collaborate with us in English, Spanish, or Portuguese. We have Mindalia TV English, but we also broadcast on a daily basis from Mindalia Televisión and Mindalia Televisao. Follow us, different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, because with that, you're helping us reach our great goal, which is share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world. We're sending you from our heart a very, very big hug. And until next time, thank you, Katia.
Thank you. Bye.